Most people's favorite Sweet 16 is their birthday. For me, mine comes in the third round of March Madness every year. This year we didn't have a lot of upsets, but that doesn't mean we were shorted of madness. Okay, maybe Florida versus Maryland wasn't all that exciting. It's okay because Maryland had a hell of a game in the round before. It was close. Florida was only up 2 at halftime. Florida fans were struck with a bit of panic in the first half when Alex Condon left the game with an injury. He did return, thank God. Angel Reese was in attendance to watch her brother Julian. If you didn't know that, you didn't watch the game. She was almost on Taylor Swift at a Chiefs game level. Man, I hate the Chiefs. Anyways, Julian dropped 12 points and 8 rebounds. Derek Queen was the star again with 27 points and 5 rebounds. He is a freshman, but did you know he is 20 years old? No one really popped off for the Gators, but they once again proved that they have the best backcourt in America. More importantly, casual fans probably got introduced to Thomas Houck in this game. He filled in nicely for Condon, playing 32 minutes, scoring 13 points and pulling in 9 rebounds. Florida pulled away in the second half, winning 87-72. It advanced to the Elite Eight. Next, we got to see BYU and Alabama score more points than some NBA games that night. Alabama set a tournament record for most three-pointers attempted with 51. Yes, 51 three-pointers. And set the record for most threes made in a single game with 25. That's 49% from downtown. On the other side, BYU shot 6 for 30 from beyond the arc. I think Mark Sears' way less talented twin played in the Duke game, but we saw the real Sears in this one. He had a career night. He scored 34 points on 11 of 18 shooting, 10 for 16 from 3. He made 10 three-pointers. He also added 8 assists. Alabama won 113-88. The Tide scored more points that night than the Washington Wizards, Mavericks, Magic, Trailblazers, Jazz, Grizzlies, and Hawks. We ended that Thursday night with 2 games that ended up being really good. One more than the other, but still. First, Duke versus Arizona ended up being a lot closer down the stretch than expected. All the hype was focused on Caleb Love, the man who sent Coach K into retirement. We all remember this.
Love, top of the key.
In this game, we learned that size does indeed matter. Duke is just so big. I mean, everyone knows, but Cooper Flagg is a beast. He ended this game with 30 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Freshman Con Knippel showed up big in this one, foreshadowed to the next game. But versus Arizona, he had 20 points on 5 of 7 shooting, 8 for 9 from the foul line, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds. Duke ended up winning 100-93, and people were dissing on Caleb Love, saying Duke retired him. That's just stupid. He had 35 points, 11 for 21 from the field, knocked down 5 out of 11 threes, and didn't have a single turnover. Almost simultaneously, Arkansas and Texas Tech gave us an instant classic. It ended up going into overtime, the first one of the tournament. But let's rewind. JT Toppin was the Big 12 Player of the Year, and rightfully so. He is really good. He shot 10 for 18 from the field, finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds. That seems good, and it was, but how about John L. Davis from Arkansas? 30 points and 6 rebounds. He was perfect from the foul line, going 11 for 11. But the real hero, or villain, depending on who you were rooting for, was Darian Williams. He went off in the second half and overtime. He sent the game to OT with a dagger 3 with 9 seconds left in the second half. He was not shooting well before that. He was 1 for 9. Shoot or shoot, I guess. He finished with 20 points and 9 rebounds, and what ended up being the game-winning layup in overtime. Red Raiders win the first overtime game of the tournament, 85-83. Michigan was competing with Auburn for a lot of this game. Really until the 11-minute mark in the second half, we were all thinking maybe we were going to see an upset. With 11-12 left, John I. Broome cut the lead to 1, and I think that's where it went straight downhill from there for Michigan. Auburn basically went on a 31-17 run to end the game. Danny Wolf had a great season, and it came to an end with a 20-point, 6-rebound performance. But Auburn was just too much. Broome had 22 points and 16 rebounds. Denver Jones dropped 20 points with 4 threes, and we all know Tahad Pettiford went off for 20 points. I warned you about him weeks ago. Auburn won 78-65 and advanced to the Elite Eight. Michigan State matched up with the pesky Ole Miss team in the Sweet 16. I said don't let Sean Padula get hot. I guess MSU didn't listen. Padula had 24 points on 9 of 17 shooting. Freshman Jace Richardson dropped 20 points for the Spartans. Cone Carr did more than just dunk in this game. He had 15 points on 6 of 10 shooting. But don't get me wrong, he did have a big dunk. Michigan State avoided the upset and won 73-70. Matthew Morrell broke the hearts of MSU -3.5 bettors by hitting an unnecessary 3 at the buzzer, but the Spartans survive and advance. Tennessee dominated Kentucky in the first half, being up 43-28 at the break. Nobody on Kentucky could score except for Amari Williams. In the first half, he was 4 for 5 from the field. Everyone else on the team was 6 for 21. I thought Kentucky moneyline was going to be a sharp bet again in this one. Sadly, it never had a chance. Chaz Lanier struggled to shoot the 3 for Tennessee, but still ended with 17 points. That didn't really matter because Zakai Ziegler had an 18-point, 10-assist double-double, and Jordan Gainey had 16 points on 6 of 12 shooting. Lamont Butler tried his best for Kentucky, finishing with 18 points and 4 3-pointers, but unfortunately for him, his college career came to an end in a disappointing 78-65 loss to the Volunteers. Houston's defense, of course, showed up in this game, holding Purdue to 60 points. Trey Kaufman-Renn had his most quiet game of the tournament, only scoring 14 points and grabbing 5 rebounds. Certainly his 4 fouls didn't help, though. Braden Smith looked like prime Chris Paul in this one with his 15 assists. As a team, the Boilermakers shot 29% from 3. Certainly they would have liked to see a couple more of those fall in. LJ Cryer only had 5 points, missing 11 of his 13 shot attempts. But luckily the Cougars have Milos Uzan, another guy I warned you about weeks ago. He finished with 22 points, 6 for 9 from 3, and 6 assists. It was a low-scoring, competitive, and tough game, but the highlight came with 2 seconds left when Calvin Sampson drew up maybe the most beautiful inbounds play ever. Of course, it was Uzan that put the dagger in Purdue's heart. Houston looks tough to beat. It won 62-60 and heads back to the Elite Eight.